Alright, what's up, YouTube? So, um, I was just scrolling through YouTube when, out of boredom, and I came across this video, why global passive doesn't change a thing. Now, I did watch part of it already, and when I was watching it, I was like, I need to make a video about this, because this is, this is a problematic opinion. This is not something that you this is not the type of opinion that should be getting out there. This is the type of opinion that keeps Hoyo being Hoyo, right? Because they're already with like all the power creep and stuff with Star Rail and like the predatory practices. It's just worse. Like I think I play Star Rail. I've played it. Well, not since launch, but since like technically the second banner. I caught like the end of Zila's banner, and then I played since then. And I cleared the end game content. I have multiple videos of me doing so, with restriction. Like I don't use the male characters. I know that a lot of the strong characters are female, but there are very strong male characters that really help, like Sunday, Aventurine, Gallagher. Those are all really strong male characters that a lot of the time actually do outperform the female characters, and I have to find ways to, when I do it, I have to find ways to compensate for not having that. Like I don't have Gallagher's healing with my Casterus, which is kind of where like this discussion came about Casterus global passive. I have the character, but I do stand on the side that the global passive is a bad thing. It's just that in order to complete like end game the way I want to, I absolutely needed that character, which is something that this guy goes into, saying that you don't need to pull the characters, yada yada. That's to an extent true. Like if depending on how you play, you don't need to pull for certain characters, but if you want to do things in the game, like if you want to play, like if you want to clear end game and stuff, like you have to. And like when it comes to the global passive of Casterus, her passive in particular, it's not that strong. It's just a revive. Yes, it can save you. It has saved me a couple of times. I won't deny it. But overall, it's not that strong. But the issue with the global passive, it's not that it makes Casterus OP or anything. It's the fact that it exists. Because with the global passive, it sets the precedent and like just opens up Hoyo to adding more global passives. So like what if Hoyo decides the next character that they want you to spend money on, their global passive increases like the crit rate or crit damage of your team just for having the character. You don't need them on your team or anything. Just having the character gives you like a 10% crit rate buff or like a 30% crit damage buff or whatever, or even like a speed buff. Like you just get like 10 speed added to your character or whatever, something like that, just because you have the character. And that's where it's wrong. That will make not having these characters make your account significantly weaker. Sure, with enough investment and skill, you can still clear the content without these characters, but your account will overall be just weaker, and that's not a good thing. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's watch this video. So you can see like what a Hoyoshill's opinion. Like this guy is definitely like this guy has to be like a Hoyoshill or something, because there's no way you have this type of opinion about the game and not be like it's pretty evident why this is a bad thing. But this guy decided that nope, they're okay. But yeah.
Hello everyone, my name is Waifu.sama and I am here making a video talking about global passive. Now, why am I making this video? It's like a lot of people has already made a video about global passive and how it's bad about the game and that it will cause irreparable damage to Honkai Star Rail. But here's the thing, right?
Okay, I don't think anyone said there's going to be irreparable damage. All people are saying is that it's going to be bad, and it's going to be bad for the game, just because, like I was saying earlier, like, what's to stop Hoyo from adding these passives that actually increase the damage of your team, making your team a lot stronger? And furthermore, before I play the video again, like, it's not just that they add the passives. Then they're going to have to balance the game around such global passives. So Caster's passive right now would be like, once per battle, she can revive your team. So now that, let's say that they balance around it now, which they most likely will, given Hoyo's power creep record. Now the new MOC has a guaranteed one-shot mechanic, and the only way to beat it would be to zero cycle, which not everybody can do. I can't even do it. Or to have the passive, because then you revive and you can continue the fight, right? And so yeah, they would have to start balancing around these passives, and that's not a very good thing. Or like I said, if like they add the crit damage, the crit rate, the attack, the speed, whatever buff, they start balancing around it. So like your team is significantly slower, and they add the speed buff, so to like compensate for that, or like a damage check phase, or a damage check phase, where if you don't do a significant amount of damage, you don't pass the phase and you fail the fight, something like that. And that's where it gets really messy and really wrong, and that's why this should not be a thing, at least globally, or at least it shouldn't be a thing. Or if they're going to add these global passes, they need to not lock them behind a character. There needs to be a way in game for everybody to access this, but they're obviously not going to do that. Hoyo's a very greedy company, so they're going to lock it behind characters, which means through the predatory nature of gacha, and they're going to make it extra predatory by adding these insane passives to characters. And then, like, even if you don't want the character, depending on how you play, you just might have to. And this guy goes into it saying, like, oh, you don't necessarily have to. But yeah, you do. Like, endgame content is a lot harder now. Like, the characters of the past cannot continue with the, like, today. Which is one of the reasons. Like, this guy doesn't understand the power creep, but even Hoyo themselves understand the power creep problem and have addressed it. Whether they'll fix it properly or not, that's one thing, but we'll get into that when that happens. But yeah, so this guy is trying to defend global passives, saying they're not a big deal. They very clearly are, but let's see what he has to say.
After looking at all these videos with all these other content creators, as well as a bunch of comments in Reddit and YouTube and basically every other social media where people can post stuff, I realized something, and that is that global passive doesn't change how you play Honkai Star Rail at all. It does not change a thing.
Yes, it does.
And here's why, alright? Before we start on explaining and elaborating on why global passive doesn't change how you play Honkai Star Rail, well, we need to first ask, how do you play Honkai Star Rail? Well, how you would normally play Honkai Star Rail is that you would do the main quest, the newest story quest, and then you'll get to see all the new character that show up in your story quest, and then you're like the character, and then you want to draw the character. And how do you do that? You're going to need Stellar Jade. And how do you get Stellar Jade? Well, you get it from story quest events, as well as endgame modes like Memory of Chaos, Apocalyptic Shadow, and Pure Fiction. Now,
and buying them.
How do you clear these Memory of Chaos endgame stages easily? Well, you need to use strong character that is capable of clearing the Memory of Chaos 12 fast enough. Alright, I don't need to explain to you how endgame works. I mean, if you're watching this video,
you don't need to explain to me. I've cleared endgame.
But basically,
full clears,
you need
auto.
strong team members in order to...
Yes, you need strong team members, which every time they release strong team members, they release stronger MOCs. That's what this guy seems to not understand so far. You need strong characters. That's the problem. That's the problem behind it.
Your strong meta team comp in order to clear Memory of Chaos. And here's the thing. When you understand that the gameplay loop is basically you just drawing for new character, clear the end game mode and every other game mode to get Setter J, and then you draw a new character again, you quickly understand that you quickly realize that there is absolutely no reason why global passive is going to break the game. Because here's the thing, right?
No, if you play the endgame content and you actually know what you're doing in the endgame content, then you'll understand why the global passive is a bad thing. Again, Caster's passive in particular is not that strong, but because of how the game operates, how the devs design, and how the devs balance, the global passive means that not having it would mean you're not prepared for the future content that they make, where they balance the bosses and they balance the enemies and all the endgame content around that passive. Just wait until we have a boss that has like a one-shot mechanic. I mean, we already kind of did with Nikador, where that was a tough boss. If you didn't like kill the shadows, then yeah, and that one took me a while to get through, like doing it the way I play with the full auto waifu only. So yeah, like imagine how much more I'm gonna have to do. Like I might even have to like pull for male characters if they have passives that are strong enough just to clear the content in the future, and that's problematic, and that's not what we want to do. Well, the way most people play the game is they pull for the characters they like and they want to use the characters they like. They don't want characters to come in that break the game or add broken things that force the game change and force you to have to use those other characters. I haven't been able to use Kafka to clear endgame content for a while, and it upsets me. She's my favorite character.
Right now, if you look at the Honkai Star Rail tier list, you can see that every single new character that has been released since 3.0 is on tier 0 in the Memory of Chaos.
That's another thing that's messed up. The new characters are tier 0. This is just further showing power creep. Yes, there are some things that, you know, I bet like Gallagher up in like tier 0.5, and then like Jiaocho, Rame, and Fugue. Rame actually dropped, but like still strong. I'm like, okay, the healers are strong, but the healers are up here because of like Casterus, and like Tribu's existence dropped Ranmei. Ranmei was a very strong character. So like this just further shows power creep. This is, if anything, power creep and the global passes. This is working against you, showing it, not actually like helping your case, buddy.
Section. And you might argue that you don't have any of those characters, but even if you don't have those characters, at tier 0.5 you still have Acheron, you still have Rappa, you still have Argenti, and then at tier 1 you still have your Firefly, Fei Xiao, fucking Jing Yuan, and even Yun Li. Okay, so here's the thing, like, these characters, the newer the released character, the more easy it is for you to clear the Memory of Chaos.
Exactly. Just pull the new characters. Give in to Hoyo's power creep. Don't realize the problem, just support it. That's basically what this guy is saying, right?
So here's the thing. Why does it matter if the new character has a global passive or not?
Well, let's see. Why does it matter? There's literally every reason I listed before. It allows Hoyo, or it sets the precedent that Hoyo, you know, if it's supported enough, which unfortunately Casterus was. So this sets the precedent in Hoyo's mind that, oh, we did a good thing. You know, despite all the backlash of people, even people who don't look at leaks were against it. They still added it. Hoyo doesn't listen. And so they added this. And now, because Casterus was extremely successful, and because most people don't actually understand how the game works or how, you know, how balance works or anything like that, Hoyo now decided, or they probably see this, they look at the numbers from the revenue and the pulls and stuff, and they're like, ah, we did a good job. That must mean players want global passives. So now they're going to lock more characters behind passives. And let's just say, sure, the global passive uh, doesn't matter. You're still going to feel bad for not pulling it, because if you lose your 50-50, you don't get the character. And not everyone can just shell out money to get the characters all the time. Like, I know that's probably what this guy does if he's got that kind of mentality. He probably has, like, the mentality of Mr. Pokey from, like, his Twitter saying, power creep's not a thing, you're just being greedy and stupid. Everyone knows about that. Everyone jokes on him about that. Even Mr. Pokey realized his own mistake, which, yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Good on him. But, like, that's the thing. Like, how are you gonna, like, talk about this and not understand what the problem is? This guy needs to do some more research or something.
Because as long as it's a new character, it will be able to clear the fucking memory of chaos. Like,
yeah, don't
having a global passive on a character
just
does
pull
not
the new
make
character,
it
guys.
a
Just pull the new
must get,
characters.
because if your end goal is to just clear the memory of chaos and all the end game mode, which is the whole argument that global passive is, well, built upon. And that argument is that global passive, if they release too much global passive, if you just pull for every single character with global passive, you're gonna make your account way more stronger.
You will. If you get every single character with a global passive, your account will be stronger. Because that's kind of how global passives work. They sit there and passively boost the strength of your account by giving you something. With, like, Casterus, with her global passive in the game, you now don't really have to worry about death too much. You have like one freebie. Like, you can tank a hit and die, and it won't affect your run because you don't actually die. You don't lose that character. And again, the Caster's passive is not that amazing. Bailu can also revive, and Bailu's not that strong. It's again, like, I have to repeat myself. It's the principle behind the global passive. Like, they added it now, so now they're probably gonna add more, and that's where the issue is. Like, I don't want to hear this guy or anyone else who sides with this guy complaining that, oh, hey, the MOC is too hard. Well, that's because it got balanced around the global passives that you said were okay. And that's probably going to happen in the future, because that's just the type of company Hoyo is. They decide what they want to do, and no matter how much players protest, they do it anyway. In fact, this passive was so bad, even, like, the Chinese bros out, our Chinese bros out there were mad about it. And normally when the Chinese gacha companies get upset, or the Chinese gacha players get upset, the companies listen. But even then, they didn't listen to this one, and yeah, they still added it. So clearly they don't care. They're gonna do what they want to do, as long as it doesn't affect their wallets. So this type of mindset is bad, because it's going to get people thinking, it's okay, it's fine, and that's not something we want to do.
And this strength will help you clear a memory of chaos easily.
Alright, I'm gonna start
However,
skipping this,
here's
because this
the
video's
thing,
kind of long.
right?
It's like 20 minutes.
When you pull for a new character performing pretty well, she just survived. I would say her maybe even 8. But if we're gonna take the average, you most likely got 4 or 5 new characters.
Okay, so this is part of the video that I have seen. So he's talking about how, like, so Acheron specifically, one of the few characters who didn't get player craft. He's talking about how, like, you put investment into Acheron and she'll do well and she'll carry you. Acheron is just one character. What about the rest? Like, What about those people who like Blade? What about me who likes Kafka? What about the Jing Liu players? Uh, yeah, they're suffering. They can't really clear the content. The the global passive and the power creep is just too strong for them to keep up. And yes, I know some of them are getting buffs and that's great, but we don't know how good those buffs will be. And yeah, all right, I'm gonna skip to like a part I haven't watched yet, and then we'll continue there. Like I don't think I watched this far.
saving up for a character that's coming out in 3.4 like fucking Finon. And
Okay, he did. I
because
got to
of
this
that,
part.
you would think that, oh my god, if I don't want to pull Cypher, but she has global passive, so I'm now forced to pull her. But no.
Okay, that little thing he said, it's true. No, you're not forced to pull the global passive character. You just, depending on what her passive is, your account is significantly weaker now. Like, that's just how it works. It is what it is.
No, here's the thing. You're not forced to pull her, because global passive doesn't change the thing.
Yes,
The
it does.
end goal of this game is to clear the end game, and in order to clear the end game, the easiest way for you to do it is to just summon the newest character, which
He's doubling down on this point. Oh yeah, bro. Don't worry. Don't just pull the new character. That's all. Yeah, cause that's not an issue at all. That's not catering to the predatory practices at all. Hmm. Good job, dude.
you're going to do to begin with. After all, why the hell are you playing the game and get doing the end games if not for getting stellar jades, which are going to use to pull for new characters? So you pull for the new character, and that new character is going to help you clear the next 3 to 4 or 5 versions of.
Okay, that's a stretch. 3 to 4 or 5 versions. Yeah. No, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. Fei Xiao. I've played the last 3, 4 endgame contents. Fei Xiao is not that strong on them. Yes, I used Fei Xiao in my most recent two, but I like Fei Xiao, and one of them was just because I wanted like the lore accuracy of Fei Xiao whooping Hule. But like Fei Xiao as the DPS would I help Fei Xiao served as a sub DPS for Casterus on that, because yeah, like depending like with the exception of Acheron and Herda, because they're emanators, they're going to be strong. Like that's just a thing that's been established. The emanator characters are going to be the strong ones. Everyone else who cares. So, with the exception of them, realistically, a character will carry you 1 or 2 patches, and then you gotta get the next big thing. 3, 4, 5 is a big stretch that this guy is like maybe if you like E6, S5 your things, sure, but for the average player, it's not gonna work like that. You're not gonna get through 3, 4, 5 patches of content with older characters.
Endgame, and with that, then global passive is fucking irrelevant. Like
No,
your
it's
global
not.
passive is going to make your future character stronger, is what you want to say. But here's the thing: they don't need to be stronger. They already have enough power put into them by.
No, they don't. I just the tier list that he showed earlier literally proves they don't have enough power. Characters drop in tier as the new characters come out because they're not strong enough. They're not strong enough. You do need the new things to clear it. And if that includes a global passive, then yes. Like, let's say they add like Finon, and Finon's global passive says increase the attack of everybody on your team. Now your characters are significantly stronger. They deal more damage because he's there. They have more power. This would elevate the power of the characters that you have, so that they would do more damage. So your Jing Liu, your Kafka, your Blade, your Zila, they'll all do more damage. They might be stronger. Now that's just an example. I don't think those characters are at a point where like a global passive would help them, but like, that's basically like the idea. Like these characters get stronger, they get more power, and the characters who are lacking get a bit more power, so maybe they can do something more. Like that's the issue with this that this guy does not seem to understand.
Hoyoverse to fucking clear the next 4 to 5 updates. So
No, you don't. You
so
get
what's
like
the
one or
point
two.
of global passive? Like, what's the danger? What is the FOMO? And here's the thing, there is no FOMO. Now, the second thing,
Okay, Hoyo is like the king of FOMO when it comes to gacha companies. Saying there's no FOMO is an incredibly wild take. This guy has his head in the clouds. He's a Hoyo. He's a ride or die Hoyoshill for sure.
that people are mad about global passive is not that it break the game, is because they think this is a predatory practice
It is a
made by
predatory
Hoyoverse to
practice.
get as much money from the player base as
That's
possible.
exactly
And
what it is.
this on this point, I agree. They definitely do this.
Oh my god, he actually said something. He actually said something smart. He actually agreed with something that everybody said. So you know what? Good job, buddy. You're not as stupid as I thought. You're actually not as stupid as I thought. Good job, dude. You actually understand that it's predatory because it is. That's exactly what it is.
On a predatory basis. They definitely do it for money. But here's the thing. This tactic would only apply to people who actually thinks that global passive is going to be big and
Oh, so everybody except this guy got it. Yeah. This tactic applies to everybody who understands how bad global passives are. So everybody but this guy. Good job.
and it and that global passive is something that you have to get. So if you just spread this information about how global passive is not gonna change how you play Honkai Star Rail, like then then the thing about global passive is just no more.
Do me a favor. Do not spread this information. If you're going to talk about, if you're going to use this video like I am, use it to show people how bad this guy is, how bad this mindset is. This is not something you want to do. But anyways, I think I'm done with I think I'm done with this. With reacting to this, my head is starting to hurt thinking about this guy. I'm gonna. I don't want this to get views. I'm dropping a dislike to kind of hurt his algorithm more. I don't want. I don't want this information getting out there any more than it already is. So please, 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 like if you react to this video or whatever, just don't. But anyways, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree, if you agree with him, if you agree with me, if you disagree with either of us, whatever reasons you have. If you enjoyed this, leave a like down below. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, have a good one.
Don't forget to subscribe!